The beautiful wedding gown, crafted from the finest white silk, was now stained and soaked. Oma Okafor knelt on the cold marble floor of the grand Golden Tulip Hotel ballroom in Accra, her vision blurred by tears. Champagne dripped from her braided hair, and the remnants of her veil lay torn at her feet. 200 guests watched in stunned silence, but not one moved to help her. Standing over her, with a smile as cold as the ocean deep, was the man who had just vowed to love her forever, Kofi Mensah. "Did you actually believe you could be a Mensah?" Kofi's mother, Efua, hissed, circling Oma like a hawk. Her voice was poison. "Look at you. A village girl with a university certificate. You are dirt on our shoes." Kofi's sister, Akoshua, stepped forward and shoved Oma's shoulder, making her fall sideways onto the floor. A wave of cruel laughter erupted from the Mensah family section. "We've been betting on how long this charade would last," Akoshua sneered. "The wedding is the punchline." Kofi just watched, his arms crossed, that cold smile still on his lips. He looked like a man who had won a great prize. Then, he raised his hand. The laughter died instantly. He walked to where Oma lay, her body trembling with shock and humiliation. "You want the truth, Oma?" Kofi's voice echoed in the silent, decorated hall. "You were never going to be my wife. You were a convenient tool. Your clever business ideas from school helped save my father's company. But we've gotten what we needed from you. Your usefulness ended today." Kofi's father, your Mensah, stepped forward, adjusting his expensive abode. "My son could never marry someone from your background. This whole engagement was just smart business. And the business is now complete." The Mensah family burst into applause, their cheers loud and triumphant. Oma closed her eyes, wishing the earth would swallow her. This was her wedding day, the day she had dreamed of since she was a little girl in Kumasi. Now, it was her worst nightmare. But then, boom! The sound was not loud, but it was powerful. The giant double doors at the back of the ballroom flew open as if pushed by a storm. Every head whipped around. The applause died, choked off in an instant. Two figures walked in, flanked by 6 serious-looking men in dark suits. The temperature in the room seemed to drop. The woman was beautiful and regal, dressed in elegant navy blue. The man was tall, with an aura of quiet power that made everyone draw a sharp breath. Every member of the Mensah family froze. Your Mensah's face turned the color of chalk. His mouth hung open. Who were these people? Why did their entrance feel like a threat? And why was Oma Okafor, still on the floor, slowly looking up with a flicker of hope in her tear-filled eyes? Hello, welcome to the Echoes from the Baobab Tree. Kindly support the channel by subscribing to the channel, like and share with your loved ones. 2 years earlier, in the bustling city of Kumasi, Oma Okafor sat at her usual corner table in the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology Library. It was a rainy Tuesday afternoon in March. She was buried in her business textbooks, making notes for her upcoming exams. She loved the quiet focus of the library. "You're in my strategic management class," a smooth voice said. Oma looked up. A young man stood there, holding 2 cups of coffee. He was handsome, dressed in crisp jeans and a shirt that looked expensive. He had the confident air of someone who had never faced a problem money couldn't solve. "I don't remember you," Oma said politely, then looked back at her book. "That's because you sit at the front and actually listen," he said, smiling. He placed 1 coffee cup on her table. "A peace offering for interrupting. I'm Kofi Mensah. From Accra." "I didn't ask for coffee," Oma replied, though she was touched. "No, but you've been here for 5 hours, and that's your 2nd bottle of water. You need real fuel." He nodded at her books. "I'm struggling with the case study on market entry strategies. I saw you nodding in class like it made perfect sense. Help." He pulled out a chair but waited. His manners surprised her. She gestured for him to sit. Just for a few minutes. That first study session turned into a second, then a third. Kofi was sharp and asked good questions. He brought coffee every time, just the way she liked it, with a little milk and sugar. He told her about his family's business, Mensa Holdings, which owned hotels and shopping plazas. The business is struggling, he confessed one evening as they walked across campus. New competitors, old ideas. My father is stressed. He looked at her. But you have a way of seeing solutions. It's amazing. Omar's heart fluttered. No one had ever valued her mind like this. She offered suggestions, framing them as theories from her books, not from a lifetime of listening to her own father talk about billion-dollar deals. Kofi listened hungrily. Months later, under the stars outside her modest hostel, he kissed her. You're incredible, Omar Okafor, he whispered. With you by my side, I can turn my family's business around. We are going to do great things together. Omar felt a rush of happiness. He saw her for who she was, smart, capable, and ambitious. He never asked about her family's money, and she never volunteered. She wanted to be loved for herself, not for her father's famous name. One evening, a year into their relationship, Omar video called her parents from her hostel room. Her father's face, Chief Ebenezer Okafor, filled the screen. His eyes, kind but always observant, took in her simple room. You look happy, my child, her mother, Neka, said, joining the call. Tell us about this young man. Omar told them everything about Kofi's intelligence, his ambition, how he respected her. He never asked about money or family connections. He loves me for me. Her father was quiet for a long time. Does he know who you are? He finally asked. No, Daddy, Omar admitted. He thinks I'm a regular scholarship student from a middle-class family in Kumasi. I haven't corrected him. Her father's expression changed. It became the look he wore in important business meetings. Don't tell him yet, he said calmly. Let me test something first. Test what, Daddy? If his love is true, a test won't matter. But if his heart is not pure, you need to know before you give him your life. A cold feeling settled in Omar's stomach, but she trusted her father. Graduation day arrived in December. Omar stood proudly in her gown, her diploma in hand. Kofi's family was there, taking many pictures. His father, Yo, talked loudly about Kofi taking over the business. Omar's parents had sent beautiful flowers but did not attend. Too risky, her father had said. One photo could ruin the test. That night, Kofi took her to a fancy restaurant in Accra. As they looked over the city lights, he got down on one knee. Omar Okafor, he said, opening a velvet box. The ring was nice, but not overly fancy. You make me a better man. With your mind and my drive, we can build an empire. Will you marry me? Omar looked into his eyes, searching for the love she felt. She saw ambition, excitement, but something else, a calculation. Still, the test wasn't over. Yes, she said, smiling. I will marry you. 2 weeks later, Kofi drove Omar to the Mensa family mansion in the wealthy airport residential area of Accra. The house was huge, with tall white columns and perfect gardens. Just be yourself, Kofi said, squeezing her hand. They'll love you. But the moment his mother, Efua, opened the grand door, Omar felt her critical stare. Dinner was an interrogation. They sat at a long table that could seat 30. So, Omar, Mensa began, cutting his chicken. Your people are from Kumasi. What does your father do? He works in investments, Omar said truthfully. Her father's investment firm was one of the largest in Africa. How nice, Efua said, her smile fake. And your mother? She is in logistics. Her mother ran a massive shipping and logistics empire. Kofi's sister, Akoshua smirked. And where exactly do they live? Which part of Kumasi? Oma named a decent, quiet neighborhood. The Mensahs exchanged looks that said, just as we thought. Ordinary. After dinner, Efe suggested Oma freshen up in a downstairs bathroom. As soon as Oma left the dining room, the family's masks fell off. This cannot happen, Kofi. Yo slammed his hand on the table. She is not our class. We do not marry down. But Dad, listen. Kofi argued, his voice low and urgent. Oma isn't just any girl. She's a genius. Her strategies from school have already improved our hotel profits by 15%. She's an asset. If we bring her into the business, we can dominate the market. Your paused, his anger shifting to interest. An asset, you say? Think of her as a business acquisition, Kofi said, a sly smile on his face. We get her brilliant mind for free. And she's humble. She'll be grateful to be part of our family. Efe's eyes lit up with greedy understanding. So, the marriage is for the business. Exactly, Kofi said. It's good strategy. When Oma returned, the family was all smiles. False, cold smiles. The deal had been made. Oma was not a future daughter-in-law, she was a business transaction. Unbeknownst to the Mensahs, Oma's father was already moving. The following week, Chief Okafor called Mensah. Mr. Mensah, this is Ebenezer Okafor. I have a business proposition. A $500 million contract to develop luxury resorts across West Africa. I need a local partner with your name. Mensah nearly dropped the phone. Ebenezer Okafor was a legend. This was the miracle he needed to save his failing business. There is one condition, Chief Okafor continued, his voice calm. My daughter. She is young, brilliant, and sheltered. She saw your son's photo in your company profile. She is interested in him. The contract depends on your son giving her a real chance at a relationship. Yours mind raced. Kofi was engaged to Oma, but Oma was just a useful girl from Kumasi. Ebenezer Okafor's daughter was a billionaire heiress. This was not a choice, it was an upgrade. My son would be honored. Yo gushed. He will be free to meet her very soon. Yo called an immediate family meeting. Forget about Oma, he told Kofi, his eyes wild with excitement. I have secured a contract with Chief Ebenezer Okafor. But his daughter wants you. She is the real prize. Kofi was stunned. Ebenezer Okafor's daughter. Marrying her would make him one of the richest men on the continent. What about Oma? Kofi asked, but his voice held no real worry. We end it. Publicly. At the wedding, Yo said, his voice cold. We humiliate her so everyone sees she was never good enough. That way, our reputation stays strong, and we are free for the Okafor girl. Kofi thought for just a moment. He thought of Oma's smiling face, then of the billions the Okafor name represented. The decision was easy. Okay, he said. We continue with the wedding. And at the altar, I will destroy her. The wedding day arrived at the Golden Tulip Hotel. The hall was decorated with white orchids and gold ribbons. 200 guests were seated. Oma walked down the aisle, her heart full of love, completely unaware of the cruel plan. She reached Kofi, took his cold hands, and the pastor began. Then Kofi pulled away and spoke the words that shattered her world. The humiliation followed like a well-rehearsed play, the insults, the shoving, the champagne poured on her head. Oma fell to her knees, her dream in ruins. And then, the doors burst open. Oma looked up from the cold floor, her beautiful dress ruined, her spirit broken. Through her tears, she saw the two people walking down the aisle with fierce determination. The woman in navy blue was her mother, Neka. The tall man with the powerful presence was her father, Chief Ebenezer Okafor. They walked right up to where Oma knelt. Her father's face, usually so calm, was a storm of fury. He gently helped Oma to her feet and wrapped a protective arm around her shaking shoulders. Then he turned to face the Mensah family. Mensah was trembling. Kofi's face was white with pure terror. They finally understood. Chief Okafor's voice was quiet, but it carried to every corner of the silent ballroom. You have just humiliated and assaulted my only daughter. You played a game with her heart for money. He paused, letting the horror sink into the Mensahs. You gambled for a contract with me by throwing away my child. He pulled out his phone, his eyes locked on Mensah. The game is over. You lose. He dialed a number and spoke one devastating sentence: initiate the collapse of Mensah Holdings. Now, what would happen next? Would the police come? Would the Mensah's world truly crumble to dust in front of everyone? The stunned guests held their breath, waiting for the word of the proud Mensah family to end. For a moment, there was only silence in the Golden Tulip ballroom. Then, Mensah's phone began to ring. The sound was shrill and urgent in the quiet. Then Kofi's phone buzzed. Then Effua's. A chorus of ringing and buzzing erupted from the pockets and handbags of the entire Mensah family. His hand trembling violently, pulled out his phone. The caller ID showed bank manager. He answered, his voice a shaky whisper. Hello. The voice on the other end was loud, panicked, and everyone in the front rows could hear it. Mr. Mensah. Our system is showing a cascade of closures. All major lines of credit have been frozen. Payments are bouncing. What is happening? Before you could respond, Kofi stared at his own screen, his face grin. Our stock, it's plummeting. It's down 50% in 1 minute. Chief Ebenezer Okafor did not move. He simply held his sobbing daughter, his eyes fixed on the crumbling family before him. He had made one phone call. His network, vast and powerful, had acted with the speed of a lightning strike. The Mensah empire, built on sand and arrogance, was washing away in real time. Oma leaned into her father's strong embrace, the scent of his familiar cologne a comfort. She watched the scene unfold as if in a dream. The guests were now whispering loudly, phones raised to record the historic downfall. Kofi was shouting into his phone, sell. Sell everything, while his father seemed to have aged 20 years in 20 seconds. I am so sorry, my precious girl, her mother, Neka, whispered, stroking Oma's hair. We never wanted you to be hurt. But your father had to be sure of their hearts. They have no hearts, Oma murmured, the truth settling in her chest like a heavy stone. The man she loved was an illusion. The family she wanted to join was a nest of vipers. Just then, the ballroom doors opened again. This time, it was 4 uniformed police officers from the Ghana Police Service, accompanied by 2 serious men in suits from the Economic and Organized Crime Office, EOCO. They walked purposefully down the aisle. The lead officer addressed the Mensahs. Mensah, Kofi Mensah, Effua Mensah, Akosua Mensah. You are under arrest for conspiracy to commit fraud, financial misrepresentation, and assault. He nodded toward Oma, still in her ruined dress. We have witnessed the assault. And we have just received evidence of your fraudulent financial activities to secure loans. Effua Mensah began to wail. No. This is a mistake. We are the victims here. Akosua tried to back away, but an officer gently took her arm. Kofi looked at Oma, his eyes wide with pure desperation. Oma. Please. I love you. It was my father's idea. Tell them. You know me. Oma looked at him, her tears now drying. She felt a strange calm. The only thing I know, Kofi, she said, her voice clear and strong for the first time, is that you only want me now because you know my father can break you. That is not love. That is fear. As the police led the handcuffed Mensah family away through a side door, their cries fading, Chief Okafor turned to the assembled guests. The wedding decorations now seemed like a sad joke. "Ladies and gentlemen," he announced, his powerful voice filling the room. "This wedding is over. But lunch has been paid for. Please, enjoy the food. Let this day be a lesson for all of us about character and humility." He then guided Omar, followed by his wife and their security team, out of the main ballroom and into a private lounge. The guests, left in stunned silence, slowly began to talk, the buzz of the unbelievable drama replacing the planned celebration music. In the quiet, plush lounge, Omar finally broke down. "Great," even sobs shook her body. Her mother held her tightly. "Let it out, my child. Let the pain out." Her father knelt before her. "Omar, look at me." His eyes were soft now, filled with a father's love. "I tested them by offering a fake contract to you, contingent on Kofi leaving you for a mysterious, richer woman. They took the bait without a second thought. They showed their true colors. I am so sorry the lesson was so cruel." Omar nodded, sniffling. "I needed to see it, Daddy. I needed to see who he really was." She thought of all the study sessions, the plans, the dreams. They were all built on a lie. Her heart ached, but a new feeling was growing underneath the pain: strength. 2 weeks later, Omar was back home in the family compound in Kumasi. The lush gardens and familiar sounds were a healing balm. The story of the wedding day disaster had spread all over Ghana and beyond. Newspapers and social media were filled with the tale of the billionaire's daughter and the greedy family who tried to use her. One afternoon, her father sat with her under the large mango tree. "The Mensa Holdings is finished," he said calmly. "Assets seized, property sold. They are facing serious legal charges. Their reputation is dust." Omar listened, feeling no joy, but a sense of justice. "And Kofi?" she asked. "Facing fraud charges. He will likely see prison time." Her father sighed. "They made their choices, Omar. Now they face the consequences." A month later, Omar felt a spark of her old self returning. She asked her father for a project. He put her in charge of a new initiative, the Okafor Foundation for Young Women in Business. Her first act was to fund full scholarships for 10 brilliant, needy girls from Kumasi to study business at NUST, her own university. As she announced the scholarships at a small press conference, she felt a purpose she had never felt with Kofi. This was real. This was using her mind and her resources for good, not for a greedy man's empire. One sunny afternoon, as Omar reviewed foundation applications, her personal assistant told her she had a visitor. It was Kofi's younger brother, Kwame. He was a quiet boy of 19 whom Omar had always liked. He looked nervous. "Omar, please, I just want to apologize for my family. What they did, it was evil. I am so ashamed." His eyes were sincere. "I want nothing to do with their ways. I am starting my own small IT business, with no family money." Omar saw the genuineness in him. Unlike his family, Kwame had a good heart. "Thank you, Kwame," she said. "Your apology is accepted. Work hard. Be different." She even offered him some advice on his business plan. She believed in treating people as individuals. 6 months after the disastrous wedding, Omar was in Accra for a foundation event. She had transformed. The pain was now a quiet strength in her eyes. She wore a beautiful, confident dress and spoke eloquently about empowering women. After her speech, a handsome man approached her. He was a successful architect named David, who had just donated to her foundation. "That was an inspiring speech, Ms. Okafor," he said with a warm smile. "Your work is incredible." They talked. He asked about the foundation's goals. He listened. He never once asked about her father's wealth. He was interested in her mind, her passion. For the first time since Kofi, Oma felt a flutter of something real. But she was cautious. Her heart, though healing, had walls. A year to the day after the wedding that never was, Oma stood on a beautiful, secluded beach at dawn, not far from Accra. She was alone. She had come to say goodbye to her old dreams. She took the simple, modest engagement ring Kofi had given her out of her pocket. She looked at it one last time, remembering not the humiliation, but the foolish hope of the girl who had accepted it. Then, with a powerful swing of her arm, she threw it far into the blue waves of the Atlantic Ocean. It disappeared without a trace. She turned her back to the sea, facing the rising sun. Her heart felt light. The past was gone. She was Oma Okafor, not a billionaire's secret daughter, not a victim, not a tool. She was a smart, kind, powerful woman with a mission of her own. She walked back up the beach towards where her driver waited, a genuine smile on her face. Her future was hers to build, on her own terms, with respect and truth as her foundation. And she knew, without a doubt, that the best was yet to come.